So today I'm going to talk about my number one tip for all Valorant players, whether you be an Iron 3 or a pro player, because even pros, I think, aren't the best at this overall, particularly in ranked games. When it comes to pro games, it's a bit better, but still there are a lot of mistakes made in this sense. And I think every player, including myself, it's a very difficult balance to strike when it comes to when to take risks and when to play safe. And on the whole, I'd say most people in ranked games tend to lean towards they take too many risks and don't play safe enough. But there will be some people out there, I would kind of put myself in that category as well, of people who play too safe and don't take enough risks. And it's a very difficult balance to strike because there are a lot of factors that go into something like that. But I have a couple rounds here from Leviathan versus Team Liquid where you're going to see, and I think Leviathan, particularly with their old team at this tournament starting out, one of the things that they were best at is knowing when to take risks and when to play safe. And I think if you can add this into your game of understanding these kind of things, you will improve quite a lot in general. You will win a lot of rounds based on these kind of decisions. And if everyone did this, the level of Valorant would be increased astronomically in your ranked games. Because here's the thing, right? So what kind of factors go into should we take a risk or should we play safe, right? Well, one of them is economy. Right, so for instance here we've got Leviathan. It's their bonus round. They won the pistol, they won the second round, and now they're going into the third round, and you can see they've got a bunch of Spectres and a Marshal, and they're going up against full rifles. So if everything played out normally in this round, we would expect that Team Liquid would win this round. They've got the guns, Leviathan don't. So if everything plays out as it should, Team Liquid should win this round. It should be 2-1, and we'll go into round 4. So what Leviathan are going to do is they're going to take a risk. Because what they're going to do is they're going to 4-stack A and they're going to push out of A. And they're going to leave Taco on his own here in Garage and just put a trip on B. So if Team Liquid just decide to run it down C, yeah, they're probably not going to do too well here, Leviathan, or at least Team Liquid will end up, in a 5v5 post plant with the spike down and the pressure will be added to Leviathan there. But they're going to take a risk because they are the team that if everything played out as normally, they're going to lose. So it's no point in playing normally. You might as well take a risk, right? And obviously, I don't mean every time you're on a save or every time you have worse guns, you should be pushing out, because it'll become a bit predictable probably. So I'm not saying, you should always be pushing out every time you're on a save. But you should be more inclined to take risks, right? Maybe you don't push all the way out, but maybe, you push behind this box, or maybe you come over here, right? You try and get into a ratty angle or something like that, right? Those are the kind of things you do want to be doing more on saves, right? And you want to be taking more risks. So let's see how this round plays out. So Liquid actually do see here early on from that Prowler that there are people, starting to push up. So they kind of take note of it, but they think that, oh, that Prowler's probably stopped them. Now, interestingly, here what Leviathan do is they then send out this smoke and they send out the Fade Horn to, clear this close angle for them. They've also sent out this smoke here. Deep on A, this is kind of a meta thing, though, that you see a lot of. And Taco actually does see contact here with Yampy just there and gets a shot off. And you can see that all of the Leviathan players have gone pushed up. Soulcast just thinks, oh, I heard that Fade Horn. Let's just see if they're going pushing up, and he gets a rude awakening that yes, they have pushed up, and we end up in this crazy back and forth where we end up in a 2-for-2, right? We've ended up in a 3v3, but that for Leviathan is fine. That's good for them. A 2-for-2 there, you end up in a 3v3. That's actually good for them, right? Because when you are the team again that is meant to lose, a 3v3 is easier to win. All you need, all of a sudden you need less kills to win the round. You perhaps have more spaces to exploit with your worse guns, right? You can sneak around in different areas and surprise your opponent, and they still have worse guns. They didn't manage to, or they're not going to manage to pick up any of the rifles. So in this situation, you would still say, Yampy is low on HP as well, so, maybe there's a bit of a balance factor there, but so is Shy, so it's kind of like, you still say Liquid maybe are slightly favored at this point, but they're less favored than they were at the start of the round. So this is good for Leviathan overall, but they still aren't favored. So what they do now is they just kind of go quiet. Everyone just kind of goes quiet as both teams are kind of figuring out what's going on. But this does benefit Leviathan, right? Because Liquid have to be worried about a ton of stuff now, right? Because of what's just happened, they have to be worried about, a ton of different positions all of a sudden now that they're in a 3v3. So this is a great start for Leviathan here because they took that risk. And so what you're going to see is eventually Team Liquid are going to come here onto the B site, and eventually here King is going to manage to get a kill. And I want you to watch King's reaction after he does get this kill on Scream just here. So he goes and gets that kill, and look at his instant reaction here. His instant reaction is to use his utility. He's going to use a boombot. He's also going to use a nade in here as well, just to try and make sure there's no trade, right? Because now we're in a 3v2. Now, even with worse guns in this 3v2, you know, King's probably thinking, we're pretty good here, right? I just need to live. I just need to make sure I can survive and, you know, not make this a 2v2, because if we're in this 3v2 now, you know, and we can, you know, see that they're planting the spike here as well, so we have pretty good information, you know, I just need to make sure that I'm okay. So look, he's just desperately trying to stay alive. He throws a blast back in there as well, right? He's doing everything he can to just stay alive. Wait for his teammates to get there, because right in this situation, he's thinking, I'm in a 2v1, and if they swing me and I've only got a Spectre and two of them swing, you know, I'm probably dead. We're in a 2v2. So he's just doing everything he can to buy time for his teammates and, you know, try his best to just live and be in a 3v2, where now he's favored. He wants to play super safe as he's favored. But now watch Demasec as well, because he's now in a 2v3. And so now he's thinking, I need to go and make a play, because my teammate Yampy is on 6 HP, so, you know, 1 bullet and he's dead. So I need to go and try and even the numbers. So look, he goes and tries to engage in a fight. He's looking for a 1v1 fight here, because he's now not favored. So he wants this 50-50 duel, even though you might think, whoa, that's really risky with a rifle. Taco could easily kill him here. This is the right choice, because he's not favored to win this round anymore, so he needs to go and make a play, which he does. Ultimately, King comes back and trades that kill, is ready to trade with his teammate right there, and now they end up in this 2v1. And obviously, Shy here sees Yampy, and they manage to get the kill. They win this bonus round, and they won this bonus round because they took a risk when they needed to, but see how King just flipped the switch? As soon as they ended up in a favored situation, instantly he went back to, I'm playing safe, I'm playing super safe, I'm waiting for my teammates, I'm not going in there on my own. You know, that is how you kind of need to understand this process, that it's not, if I'm taking a risk, we're taking a risk for the whole round and that's it. You know, this is an ever-going process of understanding where you are in a round, what the expected value of certain decisions is, what the percentages chance of winning that round is, you know, if you play safe, if you take a risk. In general, if you think we are favored to win this round, you want to be playing more safe, right? And the more favored you are, probably the more safe you want to play. Whereas if you are, you know, unfavored, the more risky you want to play, the more unfavored you are. But now let's take a look at the very next round, because now things have changed, right? If we take a look at the economy here, we've got Leviathan. They're the ones with the guns this time, right? They've even got an ARP-4 Taco there. We've got Team Liquid, who have 1 hero rifle here on Dima, and then a bunch of sheriffs, so, you know, not a great buy for them. So, of course, now we would say the favorite for this round is Leviathan. They should win this round if everything plays out normal, and you can see if we go to the map, that, you know, if we take a look at their setup, it's a lot more normal, right? There is a lot less risk taking here. 2 people towards A, 1 on B, 2 towards C to start, but Melsa will come to garage as well. So they're just playing, you know, more normal now, safer, you might say, overall, now that they are the favorite to win this round. So Smoke comes in here, and I just want you to watch how this round plays out. So Melsa is going to come towards garage, and he is going to manage to find this first kill on Yampy here in garage, and now it's even more favored, right? So now they're in a 5v4 and they have the rifles. So at this point, you know, you want to be playing pretty safe overall. The safe meter has just gone up after that kill. And take a look at this, because what's Shy doing here? He's jiggle peeking this angle. He's not taking this fight, right? I don't think at this point even knows that Dima has a rifle. But what's interesting is he isn't holding this angle. He isn't trying to get this kill. He's not trying to take this fight, because that is, you know, I mean, he doesn't know he has a rifle, but because Dima does have a rifle, that's a 50-50 fight that either of them could win. You don't want a 50-50 fight where we're in a 5v4 against mostly a save, right? That's the last thing we want. So take a look at what he does here, right? He's just jiggle peeking the angle. There's no need to go and take that risk in this situation, because, you know, that would be a bad thing. So look, he sees him, obviously, then he sends out the Prowler, sees that he's pretty pushed up, sends out the Fate Haunt. Look at how safe he's playing to make sure that this fight is not happening without, you know, Shy being ready and maybe having backup on the way as well, right? And so the rotates start to come in as well from Leviathan at this point. The stun comes in, and now take a look at this, right? Still not taking the fight. And watch, Shy is eventually going to come out here and take this fight, but it's not until Adverso is around this corner is going to be able to trade it straight away. And this is what I mean about understanding, you know, when you have to take this fight. So Shy's going to take this fight now, but take a look at this, right? Good luck getting more than one kill here, Dima. And you have the hero rifle as well. And as I said, at this point, I think they did know he had a rifle, but they get a very good trade out of that kill, right? So now we're in a 4v3. Sure, it's not great that someone died there, but Dima hit a nice shot. But at least they got the trade and they killed the hero rifle. And the crucial thing is as well, of course, had Shy taken the fight the first time we saw him when they were both here and died in this situation, King at that point was on his own on the site. And King is left in a terrible position then because, you know, there's a rifle all of a sudden, an extra rifle on the ground that they could recover if Shy dies there. And King now either has to choose to try and stay and fight, you know, potentially both sides of A, or just leave the site and give up the site and, you know, Liquid will get the spike down with an extra rifle in hand as well. So that is why it's so important that Shy made the decision to not take that fight until it was the right moment to take that fight. And he played it super safe, right? He's jiggle peeking, he's retreating, he's using his utility to make sure that fight doesn't come in until he has backup because they want to be playing safe. And as we run this round forward even more, what we're going to see here is an interesting little decision as well, because what comes next is Taco swings this angle with the stun as that Prowler's coming out and gets the kill. The thing is with Taco taking this fight here is obviously he has an op. Right, and if you think about this fight that he just took, you might be like, well, is that playing safe? Well, I think it's safe enough considering the circumstances, right? He has an op looking down there against Heaven with no smokes coming up. He's against, you know, a weaker buy. A Sheriff headshot wouldn't even kill him at this range, I don't think. And, you know, he could probably, it would require an amazing shot here by Soulcast and a relatively routine shot for Taco to win this fight. So overall, something disastrous would have had to happen for Taco to not win that fight overall. And he still, you know, is in a safe position. There's no way that, you know, even if he misses a shot, he can just, you know, retreat to the other side of Heaven. He should be fine either way. There's very little chance he dies, and there's a good chance he gets this kill. So this, even though, you know, they're in a 4v3 against a save, you might think never peek. This was a safe enough, you know, battle to take the where I think it's okay, right? And again, it's about judging these kind of fights in your hand. What gun do you have, right? Do you have an op? You know, you're on a long range angle, at elevation, you know, against a Sheriff at a long range, right? Yeah, you're probably going to win that fight. So, you know, it's not that bad. Now they end up in a 4v2 and take a look at this. Because this is crazy, right? So they hear a blast pack from Scream come onto this B site and take a look at what they do, right? Just take a look at this. And I Team Liquid here, I think just got bamboozled. There's still 40 seconds left on the clock. So there's a lot of time to, you know, sneak around the map and stuff like that. And because they heard this blast back on B and this trap didn't go off, they just decide, let's just retreat into spawn. Unbelievable, right? But now we're in a 4v2. We're in a 4v2 against two Sheriffs. If we need to be playing super safe at this point. Our chances of winning the round if we play safe are very, very good. You know, up like 98% probably or something, right? Extremely good. If we just play it safe, we should be good. If no one does anything stupid, we should be good. And you're going to see Team Liquid, they're waiting, right? Obviously, they don't know too much what's going on, and they're trying. The thing is, Team Liquid want a 1v1 fight, right? They're hoping that there's people rotating and not knowing where Liquid are, and they're hoping for a fight. But Leviathan aren't giving them that, right? They are just staying here, and they're saying, you plant the spike, right? When you plant the spike, we'll have some information, or at least where one of you is, right? And we can kill that one, and then, you know, we're in a 4v1, and we should win. That's what they're thinking at this point, right? That the spike plant is just information for them. And eventually what happens is, you know, they come on to B, and Navera will plant the spike. And now look at them. Just like a little turtle shell, you know, it just going slowly together, right? Taking absolutely no risk. I mean, they even pop a Razor here, which, you know, maybe is a bit overkill, but, you know, if they thought it was worth it, fair enough. So they pop the Razor, right, just to secure their entry, just make it even more safe. You know, this is how, look at how safe they're playing here overall. They see where the breach stun comes from, so that's information on where one is. They put the smokes down, and, you know, they start tapping the spike. Taco even gets onto a different elevation as well, right? They're just making this as difficult as they possibly could for Team Liquid here, right? They get on the spike, eventually they kill Scream. Taco's aware of what's going on. They kill Navera as well. A beautiful round of Valorant was just played by Leviathan. Every one of their players made the right decisions there, right? They refused to let Liquid exploit any mistakes. And it was beautiful, and it was wonderful, and they won the round. And all four of them, you know, as soon as they got into a 4v2, are alive because none of them did anything stupid. And this, I think, is how you can improve, is knowing when to take risks and when to play safe. And it will, you know, be determined on a lot of different factors, and sometimes it'll be very close and blurry, and there won't be a right answer necessarily. Sometimes it'll be in that close range where either one is fine, playing safe or playing more risky. But, as the odds shift in a round, from one side to the other, the further it is that it's in your favor. If you're in a 5v1, you don't want to take a 1v1 fight. Why would you? You want to take a 3v1 fight. You'll win. The round is over. You will win a 3v1 fight. But a lot of people will lose 3v1s in ranked, 4v1s in ranked. It's not that uncommon. I'm sure many of you could probably go back to, a couple games. In the last couple games you played, I bet your team or the other team lost a 3v1. Because it always happens. Because people just take the 1v1 fights. They play risky in a 3v1. But there's no need, right? And this, I think, is the main tip I can give you. Trying to understand, where are we in the round? What's the economy like? What the ult economy is like? Is it a 5v4? Are we a man up? Are we a man down? And trying to base your decisions on those factors, right? Of whether you should be taking risks or whether you should be playing safe. And I think if you can implement this into your game, you'll probably win a lot more rounds, right? And particularly if your teammates start doing it as well, you'll win a lot more rounds for sure.